Breaker block is one of the most powerful concepts in trading, and it can significantly increase your win rate. Breaker block is an area that used to be an order block, but got invalidated and it became a breaker block. Breakers are so powerful because it is an area where institutions place significant buy or sell orders, and invalidating such an area shows us that the big players want to change the direction where the price is going. So when order block gets created, it confirms a real shift in control. The initial order block does not have to create a market structure break. Weakening previous high or previous low is enough. Breaker block gets created when the order block gets fully covered with bodies. It does not have to create a market structure break in the opposite direction. There is even something stronger signifying a change in direction. It is called a unicorn entry, and it is the strongest entry possible. It can increase your win rate by a lot. It is when a breaker gets created, and in the same leg that created the breaker block, a fair value gap gets created. I would say it is not one of the strongest entries possible, but the strongest entry possible. So there are two ways in which you can use a breaker block to enter a position. First, you can wait for a retest of the order block. You can enter of a lower time frame market structure shift, or just enter right when the price comes back into the breaker block. The second way is entering on the creation of the breaker block. You don't have to wait for the price to come back to the breaker, and it is a very safe approach because sometimes the price may not come back to the breaker block. It can expand right away. So if we compare the two entry types, the first one gives us a higher risk reward, but it might run without us, and it will not let us enter a position. So the second way to enter a position is much better if your risk reward target is met, because the price will not expand without you and you will not miss a move. So whenever a breaker block gets created and the risk reward is reasonable, just enter on the creation of the breaker block. Here is an example of a breaker. It used to be a bearish order block, but the price closed over it fully with the body and it created the breaker block. In such case, you can enter a position right on the creation of the breaker block. It is also a unicorn entry because there is a fair value gap in the leg that created the breaker block, right here. Here is a bearish example. Price just swept the previous swing high and it immediately went in the other direction. This exact candle created the breaker block because it fully covered the order block. So you could enter a position. On the creation of the breaker right here, or when the price comes back to the breaker again. And price does not have to create a market structure break in order for the breaker block to be valid, but it increases the probabilities that the breaker block will hold.